According to one recent study, 89% of American college students use ChatGPT to complete homework tasks, with 53 using the tool for writing papers. 48% of them use ChatGPT during exams, and 22 to generate paper outlines. As a result, many of us educators have started looking at ChatGPT as the big bad boogeyman. For college and university educators like myself, this has caused a massive headache, prompting us to slightly change our strategies in how we plan our classes and assignments, and also to try to make amends with the reality that we are faced with. So, with a mix of optimism and caution, I would like to present to you a few reasons why you could use ChatGPT in your language classes, a few reasons why you might hesitate to do so, and a few ways of doing so. By the way, here at Sala de Profesores, we celebrate multilingualism. So if you would like to watch this video in Spanish, then please click this video right here. Now let's dive in. So first of all, why would you use ChatGPT as an educator? Number one, it could save you time. Of course, rather than spending an hour or longer planning out your lesson, you could just use ChatGPT and have it cooked up in a matter of seconds. Today, we're going to be looking at a few examples of using ChatGPT as an educator. Some of those examples will be basically generating things you could look for on a search engine like Google or Bing. In this situation with ChatGPT, it could be a lot quicker. Number two, quality. Just like any AI tool, typically there's spell check, grammar check, and other tools which could enhance the quality of your writing. Finally, creativity. As hundreds, thousands, millions of people may have contributed to this tool, intelligence that they are using to create what they produce for you in response to your prompt could potentially be the cream of the crop. So if you're using ChatGPT to generate an essay outline for an essay about global warming, you may be presented with a few ideas that you would have never thought about on your own. 3 quick reasons you may not want to use AI. Number 1, hypocrisy. As educators, we all want to practice what we preach. So if our institutions aren't equipping us with the tools that are necessary to use AI safely, to use AI with our students in a constructive manner, then how are we going to be able to permit our students to use AI? And by extension, how could we go ahead and use AI ourselves? Number 2, you may not want to use ChatGPT because it feels like you are stealing. It feels like you are not using academic integrity, which you preach so much about in class. You are presenting your ideas as your own, and they are not actually your own ideas, and that is dishonest. Finally, you may not want to use ChatGPT as a language teacher because of the bigger picture questions it may pose to us as people. By contributing to and using this machine, you are also contributing potentially to what could be the end of creativity as we know it. So the 3 pros and the 3 cons that I've just listed off are just a few of the many reasons you may have for using ChatGPT or not using ChatGPT. Now, the answer lies somewhere in the middle. I'll talk about my own views on this near to the end of the video. But first, I'm going to talk about 5 easy ways that you could use ChatGPT as a language educator if you wish to. Number 1, proofreading, editing, and revising. At a college here in the Greater Toronto area in Ontario, Canada, I teach writing fundamental courses at 2 colleges. A few of the things that we focus on are things like grammar, vocabulary, and the tone that your students are using. If you are having your students focus on audience and purpose in their writing, one potential activity you could have them do is to go on to ChatGPT. Have your student look at a letter that you have generated on AI, which is, for example, addressed to a friend. Then instruct your student to rewrite this letter, but this time to address it to a parent or to a coworker or to a different person where it would require different word choice and maybe a different tone. Activity number 2, you could use ChatGPT to create a list of essay topics. If you want to generate a quick list of essay topics that your students could choose from to write their essays for their final research paper, just go on to ChatGPT, look up a list of essay topics. Maybe you could filter it so that it's more relevant to a certain demographic of students, a certain time period or a certain year, etc. And voila, you have a list of essay topics. Number 3, have your students disagree with the machine. You could go to ChatGPT and you could type in ways that the world will change in 2024 or different predictions for the future. Have your students read through those and task them with disagreeing with 2 or 3 of the predictions that the machine has made. Activity number 4, compare and contrast. As you approach the deadline of a project in one of your language classes, any project, it doesn't matter what kind of assignment it is. As you approach the end, task them with typing into ChatGPT how ChatGPT would prepare for that project. Then your student could reflect on their own planning process for that project and how it was the same or different from how ChatGPT would do it. Let me give you an example. Let's say that your students are taking a class and the topic is about tourism. So as you approach the end of the semester, they have to create some sort of tourism brochure for your general English class. Your student could then type into ChatGPT, how would you prepare to create a brochure for a general English tourism class? And then they could look at the process that ChatGPT would use versus their own process and compare and contrast them. Activity number 5, find the gap. What are the limits of AI? Let's see if your student could find them. Have your students type in a few questions on ChatGPT and to try to find some areas where ChatGPT can't actually respond with a sufficient answer. Then have your student critically reflect on why this may be the reason and whether ChatGPT or AI tools in general will likely ever be able to answer these questions. Well, there you have it, folks. Those are 5 ChatGPT enhanced activities that you could use as a language educator. Now, how do I view ChatGPT as an educator? Well, number 1, while certain areas of the education sector will definitely be automated with AI tools, I am not worried about AI tools taking my job anytime soon. There are useful exploratory studies that have been done which have looked at the potential of AI taking educators' jobs in the near future. And if you'd like to check out those studies, please just click on the link below to go to our Patreon account, and I will make a post with those studies. However, this doesn't mean that we could predict nothing will change and that a shift does not have to occur. I believe that having higher digital literacy, having better training for educators that come from and are funded by the administrations and institutions could really help educators to stay complementary to these AI tools, but also so that we could use ChatGPT and similar tools to enhance our pedagogy. I also believe that in the short term, plagiarism is a real danger. And for that reason, we need to learn more about these tools and how we could use them to work in our favor as educators. Moving on, another thing that means a lot to me as an educator is the development of skills. That means that the product is not quite as important as the process. The assignments, essays, tests that my students complete throughout a semester are not quite as important, though they are important. They're not quite as important as the skills and experiences that they have built or had. I mean, the common question would be, what would our students be able to do without the aid of these machines? Which of their own resources do they actually have without having the extension of a mobile phone all the time? So I have responded to this as an educator by changing my assignments and assessments slightly. I will talk more about that in another video, which will be the sequel, the part 2 to this video. So if you would like to check that out, please subscribe, like this video, and follow us on Patreon where you could be notified about all of the videos, activity, and other fun stuff that we do at Sala de Profesores. So the final principle that I have with my students is to use AI in a critical way, to use it for critical reflection, not just on the tool itself and how the tool could be imperfect, but also on reflecting on their own kind of thought processes. Personally, I tried to stay innovative, I tried to stay optimistic, but I am cautious at the same time. I like to find a mix of 50% using AI tools like ChatGPT to enhance my pedagogy, so celebrating the affordances or potential affordances of these tools, but also 50% combating these tools and making it very clear of how these could be used for detrimental purposes in our classes in terms of things like academic integrity. Who's kidding who? We have a job to do. We want our students to learn. We want them to achieve their objectives. And unless if typing in a sentence and clicking generate is the main objective in the course, then we have a little bit of extra to do and our students have a little bit extra to learn. The goal is for the use of this tool to be productive, to be constructive, and to be critical. Because when all of this is said and done, I think that our critical thinking skills will be one of the things that make us as educators an asset to the world and our students an asset as well. Keep in mind, it's early days and a lot could still change. So as time goes on, I will be giving updates on some of what I think to be the interesting changes in the field and developments with the use of artificial intelligence and tools such as AI. Again, if you enjoyed this video, drop a like, give us a comment, let us know what you think. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, happy teaching.